how are you scaling? I think I asked you, have you raised capital? And I think you said no, but I think also you mentioned that you have investors. So walk me through that process. What does that look like? And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so we haven't necessarily raised any money. We do have another investor that came in right before the pandemic, literally March 18th, or we got the check and the world shut down, and they came in, and that was enough to come in and help us get through the pandemic and kind of go to those other markets. We have gone through the process of looking and meeting with different VCs and private equity. A lot have found us and found us very, they come to us and kind of, so we put a deck together and have gone through that process. But we're at a point now in our business where we do have this monthly recurring revenue. We're able to control our spending on the outcome, and we know what we're bringing in. It's a good business to have in that aspect. I kind of look at other businesses that don't have that. I'm like, how do they operate? That must be freaky, knowing that you have payroll and you don't know. You hope people pay that for your service that month. And so for us, it's nice knowing that if we add on another 300 properties this month, we're adding on an extra 300 times $50. And so if we keep our costs the same, besides paying the can runners, you're making X profit. So it's kind of good in that business model where you can control your growth a little bit more, and helped us not really have to raise capital. Like, if we had capital, would that be awesome? Like, yeah, of course. But I also can see how businesses who have too much money go broke and fail still, because if you have money, it's easy to fix problems because you throw money at it. When you have no money, you have to create solutions. So we've created solutions because we had no money. And now those solutions and processes helped us get to the point now where we still don't need to raise money. But once again, would it be nice to raise $5 million and deploy that and put some TV ads and commercials and see how we grow even faster? Of course. But at the same time, been able to grow the way we've been able to grow, double year over year so far. We just made the Inc. 5000 list for one of the fastest growing private companies in the Southwest region. So we're doing it, right? And so we're going to hold off until we absolutely need to. But at the same time, it's nice to have a business that, we know that if we hit 10,000 properties, we're bringing in this much. It's 15,000 properties, 100,000 properties. It's nice to know that, okay, all we need to do is get some more properties under management, and this is the revenue we're going to bring in, and deploy our other services that we have, like on-demand trash removal, can cleaning, and then who knows, we are a logistical technology company now. So it's what if we add some other services, since we're already able to make these routes and we're already at these properties, and I already have all this data on the back end, and I'm
sure that helps with the valuation right there, having that SaaS aspect.
1,000%. And so we didn't know what we were getting into. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we learned after meeting with these VCs is that, we've really built something that is unique, obviously, but it makes us feel like now that there's light at the end of the tunnel. At first you don't know when you start a company what's going to happen. You start, putting money into it, and you're like, is this even worth it? Am I losing everything? Especially, taking trash cans to the curb and back, especially when I had a good career. My mom starts, maybe you shouldn't, go back in title. Maybe you should go get, you have kids, and you start getting that doubt. Not that people mean to, it's logical. And so, like I said, you have to be kind of a delusionally optimistic person to be like, no, I'm going to figure it out. Thank you for your, caring, but I'm going to do this. Watch. And kind of have to be your own cheerleader and keep telling yourself that's going to work, and celebrate the little wins. And so when they do happen, you realize that you're in the right, path. And I think for us, just having those properties on subscriptions, that's what, was my goal. 500 properties, 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, 3,000. Okay, 5,000. So we're always having our goals. And as long as you keep moving that benchmark, obviously, because, I'm never content, I'm always happy. But I always know where I want to be. So I'll be happy when I'm there too. But I'm sure that at the top of every mountaintop is the base of the next mountain. So you got to always be pushing it.
I love MRR too.
Yes, and that's like honestly, I don't think I would ever get in another business that doesn't have MMR or MRR, because it's like you really it's just it's a controlled revenue that you really can add on to, and it's yeah.
100%. Talk about marketing. How have you guys marketed in the beginning, and then what are you doing now? And then if someone was to give you $1 million and you were told to spend that on marketing, how would you do that?
Marketing for us right now has been very limited. It's literally me. It's on LinkedIn. It's me doing the social media. So it's not as good as it could be, and I'll be the first one to say that. It's we could definitely have a marketing team that can make this even better. What has really helped for us is going to these conferences where vacation rental managers in the short-term rental industry are going, and making these connections, and really partnering with people, and getting an opportunity to kind of showcase our service. And I think the fact that we've been able to be so persistent and consistent with our service, because if we were not doing a good job, then people would, wouldn't be signing up and staying on. So it's the fact that we're doing what we're saying we're doing, and we're continuing doing it, that it's giving people more and more confidence, because it's like, all right, well, if they're helping them in this market, they're going to help me. And so now it's getting to a point now with our brand and the marketing that we're doing, is that it's now kind of speaking for ourselves. So at first it was like me, Alex Shapiro, if I didn't do the call, if I didn't do the push, or it wouldn't happen. And now it's like we're getting inquiries all the time. Like we've gotten articles written on us from the Business Insider, like I said, the Inc. 5000. So it's getting out there naturally, so which is super nice. If we got $1 million and how we would do marketing, I think doing like TV ads, radio ads, as much as we go after the short-term rental industry right now, like 100% of my effort probably goes after short-term rental industry. It's 80-20 split of 80% short-term rentals, 20% homeowners. So it's telling you that even though 100% of my efforts go after short-term rentals, I'm still getting 20% of homeowners, because we are at these properties so consistent that homeowners see it. What's that neighbor who's taking that can to the curb? Why are all these cars going there? And they like start, questioning, and then they go over there, talk to the neighbor. The neighbor says,
These
"Can
drug
monkey."
drop-offs?
Yeah, what's going on? Taking the cans to the curb? Like, what the hell? And then they get jealous. They're like, well, I got to take my can to the curb. I don't want to do that. And so then they sign up. And so our churn rate with homeowners is like less than 1%. It's like less than, once you get someone to take your can to the curb, you don't go back to take your can to the curb. So it's like once you sign up, like you're not going back to it. And so we've been able to just build it from word of mouth, from referrals, from people saying, oh my God, you got to try this, this company. A lot of it now is also like elderly adults, paying for their parents that are like 75, 80 in different states. They live on when it was winter time and the snow, and they don't want them to slip on the driveway or whatever it may be. There now is a solution for them. Like before, there was no solution. Like if you didn't have cleaners like you do at your property, there's not really a lot of solutions like that. So if you're in a situation where it's a dire situation because, you don't want your grandmother to slip and fall, then here comes Can Monkey, for $49 a month, saving the day.